All right, good morning, good afternoon, good evening, wherever you are. This is this version of the Operator SDK Triage meeting, which we'll be hosting. I did start the recording, and so everything that you say will be on the internet forever. So please adhere to the code and conduct as we do normally. And if no one has any forward business, I will go ahead and share my screen and we'll start working through the issues. It is a small handful this go around. Austin, I'm super glad, as always, actually, that you're here because a number of them are Ansible oriented. Yeah, right? The man, the myth, the legend. Let's see here. All right, I think we're sharing the right screen. Great. And so we might have some time at the end. We'll see where we end up. This is the 5 or 6 that we have open. I have one as well that I wanted to comb through if we have time, and it's all likely that we will. Let's see. First one up is watch for meta changes on the Ansible operator. I guess first, Austin, I don't know if you've had a chance to review or whether I should assign you and if you have some thoughts on this.
Yeah, I took a look at it. I'm not sure. I think this is probably the same for Go operators, but I'm not certain.
Maybe we need to review it together then. I didn't mean to make an assumption. Maybe the author did, based on their use case.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. It's a fair. I think they wrote the bug correctly. Does for Go operators, does it watch for changing like annotations on a CR?
I think it might not do that. I'm not 100% sure though. That's something that I would need to investigate. And that's probably the state that this is in.
Yeah, cool. Yeah, I guess you can assign it to me, and I'll investigate.
Okay, I appreciate that. I'll do that. This sounds like it's highly possible that it is not in the core or Go as well. In such situations, would we duplicate this? Would we want this in Go first? Do we have an order we prefer to see these in?
You know, to be honest, I'm not sure if we really want this feature. I mean, some of the like changing annotations and stuff is going to be caused by the operator itself, and if we are watching that, it could be triggering.
Yep.
Like owner references and stuff. We don't want to trigger an infinite loop. So I'll do a little bit of investigation, and then probably let's add a needs discussion label.
Yeah, I like that.
Or actually, don't add it yet. I'll investigate first, and then I'll add a needs discussion.
Great.
Yeah, I have a feeling that if controller runtime does not trigger or reconcile on a metadata update, then it's for a good reason. And it's probably for some reason like you just listed, Austin. But yeah, this should be investigated. Thanks for taking this on. Probably backlog.
Yeah, great. I was going to confirm that. Yeah, I like that as well. For some reason in my head, and I don't know where it comes from. That's dangerous, but in my head, I don't really see annotations as being a triggering event, like maybe labels or other metadata. Like it seems different to me. It's something you might gain information about, but would not trigger an event. It seems weird, but yeah, since sounds like we have a plan, which is great. Okay, enable logging to a file. Ansible again. I'm not familiar enough to answer this myself, so.
Yeah. Again, I don't know that this is really. Maybe we what needs to be done here is more like how to log in Kubernetes to a file. Like, I'm not sure. Yeah, I guess assign this one to me too. I'll come up with something to say.
Trying to capture the output.
Yeah, if you think that you can take this on, then assign it to yourself. Otherwise, we can give it to somebody else if anybody else would like to volunteer.
If somebody else could take this, that would be awesome. I have not played around with Kubernetes logs too much, but I think it's more of a Kubernetes logging situation than specific to the Ansible operator.
Yeah, probably. Ish, Varsha, Rashmi, Jesus, anybody want to take this on? Take a look into it.
I don't know a ton about the logging stuff, but I've been doing more work with Ansible, so I can take a look.
That'd be great. Ish.
Yep.
The one at the bottom there. Yeah.
The Isha. Right. All right.
So I had to get creative.
Nice. Well done. Yeah, I guess, 2 cents on it. I mean, if we're just talking about logging, you're going to get the log of the controller running in the cluster from a standard pod log. Other aspects of Kubernetes would be in their spread out logs or perhaps the event, but I'm confused as to what exactly they're after. I liked what Austin mentioned, or at least he was implicit about it. In all likelihood, this is not an Ansible specific thing. This is wider than that. I'm not sure why the robot put Ansible on it. Probably because Ansible was mentioned in the text.
Yeah, I mean, they are using Ansible. They did notice the Ansible runner has an option available, but I don't think we want to let people mess with that. Maybe we do. I'm not sure. But there's probably a better solution. That's what I'm hoping.
Cool. All right, backlog then.
Yeah.
I wanted a round of yeses, like a wave.
I think I heard Jesus too, but it was very quiet.
Yes.
I was muted.
He's in a can. But we did. I finally did hear you. Great. It's recorded. We'll go back and replay it just to experience it. Custom resources does not delete resources created in another namespace. No owner references set.
Right. So I looked at this one briefly. The gist of it is they're creating their operator in one namespace and creating a CR in another namespace. I don't know if it's clear that they're watching that namespace from their operator, but if they are, they're trying to delete that CR and have some resources garbage collected. But of course, because owner references don't work across namespaces, they won't be, like an owner reference won't be applied to that CR, if I understand correctly, unless the operator is watching that namespace.
Yeah.
Yeah, that is right. There is a way of doing this across namespaces though, which is I think it's an annotation is what the Ansible proxy does across namespaces.
Yeah, so that's why I wasn't sure about what's going on here, because I think Ansible operator does that by default, right?
It should.
They included their project, it looks like, in that zip file.
Yeah. It might just be because they're not watching that namespace, therefore the operator doesn't know that that CR exists.
Yeah, this is another situation where they're using Ansible, but I don't think it's Ansible specific. Does anybody want to volunteer to respond?
I can do this one. Jesus.
Gotcha.
Oh, JM, that one. Yep.
Appreciate that. Got a full set of source code to dig through.
Yeah. And I'm also waiting for the last one in this list to pick up.
It sounds like they're just doing a quick start, so it shouldn't be too bad. They Probably they're just lacking the information needed that we discussed. So, be my guess. Record build fails on copy API. What do we got going on here?
Yeah, it looks like their project is multi-group, but they didn't upgrade to a multi-group project correctly. Because if you scroll down, they made a change to their Docker file that updates the name of their copy directive in their Docker file, or the arguments to it, to something that looks multi-group. So if you refresh that, I think I commented. Yeah, there we go.
Okay, yeah, you even added the triage. Great.
Yeah, so you can assign this to me. And put this in the backlog.
Roger Dodger. Ansible stuck forever.
That's bad.
Yeah, apparently this is affecting OpenShift or Cube 8118, because with 117 they said it was fine.
Is there, I remember seeing something about a patch that fixed CRs or CRDs from being incorrectly applied, or their validation from looping indefinitely. I think I saw this referenced in Cert Manager's repo. Let me take a look for that after this meeting, and I can follow up on this. But Jesus, did you say that you wanted to take this one on?
Yeah.
All right. So why don't you take this on, and then I'll try and look for that and see if that's what caused this issue.
Okay.
I don't. It's just weird because this doesn't affect Go, as far as I know, just Ansible.
Okay, any changes, any differences of opinion based on what was updated here?
We may want to consider putting this in a milestone.
Yeah, I've seen other people internally mention something about loops where things kind of, it's detecting changes constantly. And one bug that was related, they were looking at, I'm trying to remember if it was like a deployment or it was like a standard Kubernetes thing, but OpenShift, I guess, was adding a touching it, and the operator was touching it, and then it triggered a reconcile, and then when it does the reconcile, whatever was happening, they were kind of fighting, and it was constant. And then I've seen another report where the Ansible operator was using a lot of CPU, and similar to it looping constantly. So it's like there's at least 3 related issues. And this is the only one in our repo, but I think there's 2 Bugzillas. I think they're all the same. So a milestone does make sense.
That makes sense, yeah.
Except I don't know, 1.3 is this week.
Hey,
Oh,
It's
this
not
is
gonna happen.
awesome. The repo that they linked is just the operator is like just a reproducer of this issue.
Well, that's helpful.
yeah, that's fantastic.
As
I'm
far
gonna
as
put
a
a heart on
milestone,
this.
I would put it at
I'm in.
1.4.
Okay, 1.4 sounds good. Any other
Yeah, because I don't
concerns?
think I'll. I mean, 1.3 would be nice, but there's other things I've got on my plate.
Okay. Any other conversation around that? I mean, it makes sense. It sounds like this high priority, but also everybody gets it's late in the game and it's a lot on our plates already. Okay, Good. That totally makes sense. And the spike in the CPU on a tight loop totally makes sense as well, that it's correlated. So
Yeah.
What do we got here? Are we back at the, let me hit refresh. Oh, we went through it. All right. I think the other thing I was interested in bringing up, and I don't know if I want to tie up everybody's time, since it's probably me that's needing the information, but it was geared around basically issues we've had with 118 that's been outstanding since the summer. And I think, Eric, I think you last put on this message of, hey, this is kind of an upstream thing. Do we, this was bumped into 1.3. I guess I'm curious where this is at.
Right. So there's a bit of a dependency issue upstream where the controller gen version that contains this fix also contains some breaking changes for defaults. It will generate V1 CRDs and webhooks by default, but projects all currently use V1 beta 1.
Yeah.
So in order to use the upstream binary that has the fix at a particular version, you need to add some things to your project, which I posted in a workaround comment up above. I think it's a few up. So there's an active workaround for this, and it's pretty easy to implement. So that's good. You probably won't ever see this change in the Go V2 scaffold, unfortunately, because of these new defaults for the fixed version of controller tools. There might be something that we can do in the SDK to scaffold these changes automatically. But the other thing that we can do is incorporate the new Go V3 plugin once that's stabilized, which we plan on doing very, very soon. That has this, that scaffolds this controller tools, the controller jump binary with the fix by default. It also has V1 CRD and webhook support. So I'm not 100% sure on which is the best approach for, or like what we should do for existing projects aside from posting this workaround. Whether we should be modifying old projects or not, or not old projects, but the old scaffolding or not. But this is still like a pretty big problem for people who are on 118. So we should probably do something more than have a workaround for this.
Yeah, what's the right forum to organize around that? It sounds like some, yeah, I'm not sure what the next steps are or how to get alignment on it.
Yeah, I would think that this is actually worth opening it up in KubeBuilder and seeing if we can patch the V2 scaffold, just because this is a plug in a dependency effectively in the controller tools library. So that would basically involve adding these two in the two code boxes at the top of my comment, making those two changes to the V2 plugin stream, and then bumping the controller gen binary version. So I can take this on and make an issue in KubeBuilder and then post a PR for it. And because it's cached as a bug fix, and this is a pretty important one too, I think we can push this through.
Yeah, that sounds great. I think I'm aligned with you. I think there's enough people kind of stuck on this without a real solution that, well, I hate to say it, not a real solution. Yeah, there's something here, right? But I think built into the tooling solution.
Yeah, exactly.
Cool.
Okay, I'll deal with this. Thanks for bringing this up again.
Yeah, no worries. Okay, that's that was it. I don't know if we have other things we could bring up. and discuss. Still have a good amount of time, or we could head back to work, but wanted to leave an opportunity. All right, that pause was pregnant enough. No, I really appreciate it. It's really great. Yeah, I guess that's it. So with that, we'll head back, and thanks for everybody's involvement moving the project forward. We do have, as already indicated or noted, the end of this this week is the end of this sprint. So keep that in mind. And I'm not sure when the next get together is. Actually, I should have checked that ahead of time. It's at least next week, right? But we get together on Wednesday. Yep.
You got it.
Okay, great. Sorry, Austin. All right, we'll see everybody Wednesday. Take care.
Thank you.
Sounds good. See you.